Hello, 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 my friends. Welcome back to the Dynamo. And this really is where it all just went to shit for Blythe. Like this game, this is where we last left off. I've played a bit on since then, but like this game, because just look at what happened to Blythe in the aftermath. They didn't win a single game on the way there, and Scunthorpe in the survival stories of all time, Scunthorpe scuppered Blythe's chances of getting out. They just fell apart. Let me show you how the actual, what am I looking for? To go back and let's go here to the playoffs. So the first round, Scunthorpe finishing and kind of getting away with it, finishing fourth. So second and third, Scarborough and Blythe. It went into that first round where Sycamore and Scunthorpe went through, and then in that semi-final, both Scarborough and Blythe just got blown away. Sycamore spending more on penalties and Scunthorpe 1-0, but it was Scunthorpe in the end, in extra time, that went through up into the National League. And the reason I'm calling this an absolute a story of all time is let's go back to the league table and let's look at it's not going to show it for me. No. Scunthorpe started in 23rd and they just slowly worked their way up all the way to fourth. At the very end, they literally pulled it out of the fire and just got through. And I'm devastated. It's because I've started the new season. But like I said, we went up as champions, 105 points, 52 against 108 for. It was a good season. Really enjoyed that. So went through the summer. I've played a little bit of the Vanarama National and we're sitting second at the moment, 6 games gone. But what's really funny is we've conceded a goal. So we've 5 clean sheets, but we've only scored 9. So we've scored one of the lowest amounts in the league. Let's check this out. We're down here bottom table. We're only it's teams in the relegation zone that have scored less than me, but nobody else has conceded as few as us. So what I've done is I've set us up to play a particularly defensive style of gegenpress, where I have a Cariello and a defensively minded defensive midfielder. For a long time, I have been playing with an attacking minded playmaker, but I'm gonna, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So we're playing with the 2 wings. We're playing Briggs, Infinity and Sullivan as that kind of trio in the midfield here. With a deep lying forward up in that striker role. So it basically is your classic defensive-minded 4-3-3 that's trying to break wide. That's the goal of this tactic at the moment, and it's working really well for us. Hughes is on fire, 5 clean sheets, only conceding 1 goal. And as far as I remember, that goal was a free kick, so they're a lottery at times. Let me show you who we brought in. In terms of, Sildorf, I made the mistake of releasing him or not offering him a contract before he came in. And I remember, shit, I have to actually sign him a contract. But the problem is because he's 16, he's not joining until 2026. So he's in on a permanent trial and I can't get rid of the trial because that's just not how it works. So by the time he's here, he should have Irish nationality because I have him in on a permanent trial. If by then he's 18, he's not, I'm just going to cut our ties and get rid of him because I messed up there. Not really much to say about him. I don't think it's going to happen for him because he's here on trial and I don't know how that works in terms of training, whatever the things. But actually, you know what I'll do? I'll bring you through. So what I've done is my under-18s, I brought in a bunch of under-18 players as well as allowing my youth recruitment to... I signed everybody from that youth intake, and I've kind of spread them across the second team and the under-19s, so that in our under-19s team, we've played 1 game, won 1 game, so we're not the absolute laughing stock anymore. And if you go into the second team, there's a decent side in here. Kai McLean is a player I brought in he's my 3rd choice goalkeeper, but he's my 1st choice second team goalkeeper. But he's got a lot of potential, so that by the time Hughes and Horan, either I'll have made up my mind about them. Hughes is still my 1st choice goalkeeper, absolutely phenomenal player, and could improve significantly. Basically means my scouts aren't sure what his level is. Considering we're National League and he's a good National League player, I'm hoping that could be League One, maybe Championship, because if we have the 1 goalkeeper going the whole way through, that would be phenomenal, and he's young enough to be able to do it, and he's Irish. What more can you ask for? That's the whole point of this save. They have to be Irish. Because and you can actually see here the average ratings. We're playing very, very well. I'm very happy with this. Go overall, sort of by nationality. We have a couple of Northern Irish, but the rest are Irish. Sticking true to the roots of what this is supposed to be, actually unavailable. Because you can see there's only the one Russian lad down here who I thought would be Irish, but everybody else, we're working well. But in that second team, it's going to the first division, we won a game. For the first time in our history, we won a game. 5 games gone in the Irish First Division and we're comfortably mid-table. That is what I want out of these guys. Because you see Kai McLean, oh yeah, he was injured, so he hasn't gotten anything. But like Cormac Austin, one of the players I brought him in from Crystal Palace. He got relegated. He got released, so I brought him in. And you can see he's got first team appearances for that First Division, Dublin City 2. That is the whole point of this setup, is so that I'm able to blood people in the Irish First Division. They get their first team caps, and then when they're ready, I bring them into the first team proper. Austin and Gamble, they're 2 under-21s who I'm quite excited about because, no, not Gamble, Gibbard. So Gibbard and Austin, they're both essentially the same player. They both play in that holding role. So I'm going to see who's able to kind of cement that role for themselves. At the moment, it's Austin, although both of them are starting. We've got Connolly. Unfortunately, I relegated him down to that second division because it breaks my heart because he was one of our best performing players, but I've moved on. I've just gotten better players in, and he's just not to the level that I need him to be, but he's there to call upon, as well as he's offering vital experience in that second team. Because if you go into the training and the mentoring groups, he is he's a team leader. I didn't know that. Beautiful. I'll have to check the hierarchy earlier. Nanatosh and Devitt, both of them are getting significant experience from, as well as Kante. I know there's a way of pronouncing the N with that. I'm going to call it an accent, but I don't think that's the correct term. Kanete? Who knows? Scott and, we're going to call him Con. Scott and Con both getting significant influences from both our ex-first team players. McNamee used to be our captain. He's no longer our captain. Let me show you who our captain is. Now, for any of you who are Irish, you will recognise this name immediately. Richard Keogh. I got him in. He immediately got injured. So he sat here on $2,500 a week, $2,500 a week, and he's injured for 2 to 4 months. But he's our captain. Keogh and Kavanagh are both of our captains. So if we go into the dynamics here and go to the hierarchy, yeah, no, it's right. Keogh and Kavanagh, captain, vice captain, and then Sullivan, Verdon, Torish, Ward, and Finnerty. Torish and Ward are just not first team anymore. Ward is kind of like on the verge. Keogh is reaching the end of his career, fair enough. Ward, he's still on a part-time contract, for God's sake. We became professional and became a first team, a professional side. So I've slowly been getting everybody that I can onto full-time professional contracts. Let's go to contracts. Because you can see here, we've got just Ward who's on part-time. Our wages have bumped. We've gotten from being a team that average wage spend of around 400 euros a week, we're now averaging about 1,000 euros a week, and we are, in terms of the actual competition, we're not one of the big dogs, but in terms of like wage spend, we're 7th in terms of spent because we have 1.24. So we're on average. I wish it would show me the average per week, but actually I can do that. Hold on a sec. Calculator 124. Divided by 52. Well, that's wrong. So what I did is I took 1,024 euros per year and divided it by 52 to get the weekly, and I got 23,000 a week. That's clearly wrong. So I don't know what's going on there. But anyway, we're 7th in terms of wage spend. The club is being really good to us because you can see we're topping out around 1.7 and we're slowly starting to come down again. I'm expecting that projection to get a bit ugly because we're going to have to start probably selling or just culling some of those wages. Because in terms of our turnover, the turnover is expecting to be healthy, but you can see where that expenditure is going to really get at us, where we're going to start losing money if I don't get some prize money in. So that's the key thing. If we're not able to make a consolidated push, I'm going to have to let some players go. In terms of sponsorship's going okay. Club membership and season tickets. Our season tickets went from 1,700 to about 2,100. So the club stature as well as the appearances are doing well. And in terms of the attendance, we're fairly well attended at the moment. 5,000, 6,600. So they're coming out. Because you can see here 3,000, 3,000, 3,000, 4,000, 3,000. And this is near the end of the season. Like, how did it start at the very start of the season? 4,000, 4,000, 4,000, 3,000. So there's some bank to be made in terms of our home attendances because we're a fairly well-supported team at the moment. And you know what? Fair play to them because we've only got 800 seats in the stadium. So, like, there's a lot of standing in Morton. But we're doing well. Look, we're undefeated so far. Conceded a goal, just a solitary goal and we conceded a goal against the team that's expected to finish top of the whole damn thing. They're supposed to come fourth, Morecambe, and at the moment they are sat, where are they? It's 9th. So, we're doing okay. In terms of the XG table as well, actually, because we have more points than we're supposed to have. We've conceded less goals than we should have, but we've also scored less goals than we should have. So in terms of where we are, second place isn't terrible. We're supposed to be first in terms of the XG, but Rochdale are ahead of us. And they've +8 in terms of their goal difference and +5 in terms of their expected points. So that is unsustainable. They won't be able to sustain that. That's just the way that's going to go. So the team that has robbed first place off of us is the team we're playing. That's just how this goes. I love this game sometimes. It conspires against you and for you to deliver these beautiful storylines. That's how this tends to work. But like I said, let me go through the stories here. Let me go through the transfers. So Cormac Austin, fairly decent player in terms of his potential ability. He's potential League 2 standard. So what I'm doing is I'm blooding him in the Irish First Division so that I can get some kind of feedback on just what kind of a player he is. How does he work? Because the second team play the exact same tactic as us. He plays in that deep lying why am I struggling my words? He plays in that defensive midfield role, so I'll get some vital feedback on him in terms of the reports and the form to see how he's doing. He had a 6.3, fair enough. Two goals from defensive midfield. I like this kid. So that I can basically find out between the two of them who's making the step up to the first team. Let's go back to transfers. Nope. Here we go. So Gibbard, essentially, both of them came from Crystal Palace as well, actually. Fairly similar players, although he's got better vision, so I can see him more playing in that kind of Caballero role. How do you actually pronounce that? I might as well just call him wide box to box or the advanced playmaker. With that vision and that passing, he's probably going to play advanced playmaker. That's how I see it for him. But Stephen Ball, I was planning on bringing him in as my first choice left back, but Alex Murphy became available, and I'm like, no. Murphy's one of the best players at the club right now. Look at those stats. He's a EFL level 2 player. So we have one of the best players in the league, potential to be level 1. He's 20 years of age. Absolute steal on this fella. And look at that. I've locked him down on a 4-year contract on a 1.7. Like, I'm taking a gamble on this kid because if he doesn't live up to that potential, that's a lot of money. But in terms of his appearances so far, he can also play centre back and wide left. So there's plenty of versatility in him. And one of the things that I'm doing is, like, if I need that cover in centre mid, I don't need to have a centre mid on a central defender on the bench. I just need to have a left fullback on the bench because I can pull Murphy into that middle role, and he's got good marking and tackling. He's 6'2", so he can comfortably play that role next to Finnerty, and especially when Keogh comes back, because he'll be back in about 3 or 4 months. We're going to be spoiled for choice in how this works. So it brings back, because Dale Gorman is what I want to show you as well. I brought him in to basically be a more creative role, essentially to fulfill the boots that Connolly left us. And because you can see, like, even we're going to the comparison, I'll just show you why I brought him. Because Ryan Connolly, you can see green, he's just a more rounded version of that player. Let's go into the midfield role, advanced playmaker, attack. Like, Connolly's better at dribbling, but Gorman has the first touch, the passing, the technique, the teamwork, the vision, the off the ball. He doesn't have the flair, but he doesn't need it. Composure and decisions are Connolly, but then again, 28 versus 32, to be expected. And they're both fairly similar in terms of the midfields, but he's got better aggression. And I feel like we needed that because at the time when I signed him, we were looking at a relegation dogfight because we were expected to come bottom. I've since pulled that with some good signings. I've pulled that into a respectable 13th point place finish. Although I'm looking for the playoffs, baby. I want to get out of this league. I want to get into the Football League proper so that I can get into that League Cup and try get those juicy revenues off the Premier League teams. Because look, I should have beaten Stoke last year. That tie against Everton belonged to me. I should have got. Can you tell I'm salty over this still? So let's go back to the transfers. So Murphy, Kyo, best player on the team. I bought him, I'm not going to lie, I bought him for that leadership. Because I felt like we needed leaders on the bench. We needed leaders on the pitch. I needed leadership in the dressing room. Especially because of how, like, the longest serving players at the club have been here a year. So I need strong personalities, regional reputation, resolute, good leadership. And he's a proper player. And he has 26 Irish caps, 38 years of age. So he's not going to be around forever. Although he's I think he's playing as a star player. That's what he's listed as. But he broke his leg in training. And just, broken lower leg, 17th to the 7th, early in pre-season. What? Look at this, like I even checked his injury record. Slight. He had a major injury in 2022, but he was out for 7 weeks. He was out in 2019 for damaged cruciate ligament, which, fair enough, look, that happens. But that's it. In terms of injuries, that's it. He was out for 10 months. Fucker broke his leg. Falls. I want to talk you through this fella as well. I got him in on loan from Huddersfield, and I just immediately saw him and went, oh, I need to have this kid. Best centre midfielder in the team, best striker in the team, and he's off to a cracker. 6.93, scored a goal, 4 games, got himself sent off with a straight red 2 games ago. So, you live and you learn. That's just how this works. So he's missing this game against Rochdale, and he'll be back against Halifax Town. So it's like, kid, don't randomly slide tackle the opposition, lunging 2-footed. You'll get yourself sent off. That's how that works. But we'll go back to the transfers anyway, in terms of, because there was a couple from last season at the very end. So Josh Briggs, brought him in as well. 6'3", 18 years of age. I saw some potential in this kid, and he's here. Potential EFL League 2 standard player. And like I said, I'm looking for people who can potentially grow into something, because if they don't reach that potential here, I need to be able to make a little bit of bank off of them so that I can try fund the youth systems, because I want to improve the quality of youth coaching in Dublin. Because once we get into a position of having, championship level aspirations and being in the championship, I want to be able to develop Irish players to basically satisfy the goals of this save, which is to try get Irish players into very competitive situations to try and improve the national standard. Because I also love the idea of having our youth academy playing through the Irish system, so that you essentially have a Premier League youth academy playing in Ireland. Because that's the goal, because I think that can just make everybody better. So let me see in terms of here, Verdun. Oh, nope. Bradley, Syracuse, McLean, Candice Carroll. Here's a guy. I brought him in as a first choice central defensive midfielder, and he's played 6 games, but he can also play between the two, because you can see in form, he's played central defender as well as defensive midfield, and he's playing really well between the two of them. Like I said, versatility is the name of the game here. That's really what I wanted. I wanted people who could play centre midfield, defensive midfield as well as defensive centre, so that we could have that nice height, strength, and just ball playing ability to be able to kind of rotate between those 5 selection choices because you don't have much option down here. You are in a bad state if you have injuries. And like, I don't put a goalkeeper on my reserves because we only have 5 spots. I don't want to only have 4 spots because I need to... Look, if you played lower league, you know the situation we're in at the moment. But in terms of... How else is this looking? Oh, yeah. Carruthers. I'm just going to call him Samir. Brought him in. I thought, oh, you're a natural replacement for Keith Ward. Fucking went and got himself injured. Damaged Achilles tendon, out for 2 to 4 months. Why do I even bother? Why do I bother? It's the increased training. I'm absolutely certain of it. I got no injuries last year, but that's because everybody was basically on part-time contracts where they only came in to play a game and then they fucked off home again to their wives and children. Now that I'm demanding all of their time, they're getting injured. I know, probably to spend more time with their wives and children, but look, you know how it works. Just, look, he's a good inside forward. That's what I wanted for him. And he's now on my physio bench. Himself and Richard Keogh are becoming very good friends. The big bald head on him with a proper beard. I'm salty. Because they're... actually, he's only at 800 a week. Keogh still upsets me because I really wanted his experience at the heart of that defence. But he curls the ball. I love these players. Everybody else in terms of what are they called, youth, I have Siraku out on loan. I brought him in from Watford because I figured, look, very technical player, potential English League level 2 player. Like I said, having that potential is important to me so that if they don't develop, I might be able to attract some like League 1 or Championship teams to get them to bite at them. So, as just a general overview, let me show you what we're looking at in terms of the whole team. So, a lot of players with really, really good potential. You can see that the whole way through. A lot of them are 16, 17, but we've a lot of players. Like, here we go. Carroll, 25 years of age, very good potential. You've got Murphy, very good potential, 20 years of age. Falls, he's on loan, but I might see if I can sneak him away and see if I can pull him in. Briggs, 18 years of age, very good potential. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to keep a core of team because when it comes to Irish players, I'm not really looking for the best possible team that I can. But because I don't have that like maximum range to be able to get as many of the best players as possible, I don't have the full pool of free agents to play from. So I'm trying to keep a team together so that cohesion can end up being worth that experience. Because a team with good cohesion, because like in terms of the dynamics, very, very good cohesion, very good club atmosphere, this is why I'm outperforming in the league. So if you can keep a good solid core together, I won't have to start looking for better players. So I'm looking for good players who can get me there now and will improve in time so that if I get stuck in like League 2 or League 1 for a year, won't be a problem. They're developing and they've got the room to develop. So how long is this video? Where am I going for so long? 23 minutes. Yeah. I'm not going to play the game against Rochdale with E, but I'm probably going to win. It's just how this goes. Introduction to League 2. I'll come back to you later in the season, but right now we're flying. We're flying. My friends, thanks again for sticking around. Catch you in the next one.